Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our webinar series. This is the first of three. We are doing the webinar called Demo to Impact, Matchmaking with Cascade Funding for Public Authorities. And the topic today is going to be on one of the objectives of the Mission Ocean, which is restoration. That's both marine restoration and freshwater restoration. And we're excited to welcome all of our speakers. We have a very jam-packed webinar today. So we are going to try and keep to time as much as possible. We have 1 hour for this webinar. So we're going to start with a welcome from myself and a hello also from the European Commission. We have two representatives with us today who will introduce themselves. And then I will moderate after that, and we will move into the pairing speakers presentations. And what I mean by pairing is a public authority and a demonstration site or a service provider, whatever the case might be. And after that, we hopefully will have some time for a short panel discussion or in Q&A. And then we will move on to two open calls that are currently running that people can find out about and apply for funding. And then we'll have a wrap up. So as you can see, we have a quite busy day or webinar in front of us. So I'm going to quickly kick off. I won't take up too much time. I just wanted to present myself. So my name is Valerie de Liederkirk, and I am the head of the Ocean Policy and Stakeholder Engagement group at the All Atlantic International Research Center, which is an international collaborative framework to address global challenges and local priorities in the Atlantic Ocean. So please do visit our website to find out more about us. And one of the things that we do on a very regular basis are these Networking Fridays, which are an opportunity for our participants, our members, and just general audience to gain knowledge, share on this platform, and build capacity. And I was also the Blue Mission AA coordinator, which is one of the lighthouses for the mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030, which the Commission will cover in their talk. And so, but now that has ended. We just ended at the end of October. So unfortunately, our lighthouse is now finished, but we are continuing with a project called Blue Action AA. So I will pass the floor over to our Commission representatives, which are both Loïc and Jacques. Thank you very much.
Loïc, if you want to start.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon to everyone. I see quite a number of participants there. Very pleased to see that. So my name is Loïc Blanchard, and I'm currently working in DG RTD in the unit dealing with ocean, seas, and water. And I'm here also because I'm part of the Mission Secretariat, which is the structure inside the Commission that support the implementation of the mission and the work of the mission manager. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I'm Jacques Delsals. I'm working in DG Mare in the unit in charge of marine innovation, marine knowledge, and investment. And as Loïc mentioned, I mean, we are both in both units. We are part of the secretariat of the mission, so we are working together in the implementation of the mission, the monitoring of its implementation, of its impact, and so on. So I will start now. We have a few slides. So I will. Does it work? So you see it, no?
Not yet, but it says double click to enter full screen mode. It says on my screen.
It seems
there we go. Yes.
It works, no? Fantastic. Yeah. I like when it works. Okay, so I will be very quickly. I don't know the level of knowledge of the people attending the webinar, so I will go quick, and then there will be opportunity. I mean, if you have questions either during the meeting or even afterwards in written, etc., you are really welcome to ask anything So the objectives of the mission, we have basically a 2030 horizon in which we target three main challenges. So the mission was defined between 2019 and 2020. The implementation plan was published in 2021. So this is the main background of the mission is obviously the Green Deal. So we have three objectives. The first is to protect and restore marine and freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity. So it's very important. Also, the mission is very often known as the mission ocean. It's ocean and waters. And even from DG Mare, we really insist on this freshwater component because it's an essential component of the hydrosphere, the overall water ecosystem, and also because most of the solution for improving the marine environment, are on land. The second objective, and where this source to sea paradigm is the most evident, is on the prevention, elimination of pollution. And the third objective is to make the blue economy carbon neutral and circular. We are complementing these three objectives with what we call the cross-cutting enablers of the mission. So the first one is to build a digital ocean and water knowledge system, and where the main instrument will be the digital twin of the ocean, for which a prototype has already been presented last year and also this year in Nice. There will be in 2 weeks' time the Digital Ocean Forum, where the progress in the building of the digital twin ocean will be presented. And the second enabler, it's the public mobilization and engagement through a large panel of instruments. The idea is to help catalyzing the transformative change that is needed to restore the ocean and the waters. So the main instrument of the mission at this stage is the Horizon Europe work program, so the calls and the project. So we are now evaluating the 5th year of the work program, but there are already almost 80 projects that have started to support. Some haven't even already finished, like Valérie was mentioning, for instance, the Sea Basin Lighthouse coordination and support actions. There are 4 projects that have been accompanying the mission since the beginning. Now the second phase is about to start early next year under the for similar projects under the work program 25, and we are in the context of the preparation of the work programs 26 and 27 that should be adopted at the end of next month, the end of this year. So the mission, we see it as a federating initiative. So we want to gather and mobilize citizen and stakeholder engagement through concrete actions focused on the objectives mentioned before. So this means not only this research and innovation project that comes through the Horizon Europe work program, but we have also charter actions for which we aim at gathering the engagement of local actions or the involvement of national, regional, local authorities. We are demonstrating concrete actions which are in line with the objectives of the mission. We aim also at building synergies with other EU and national and regional funding programs. We also try to mobilize private initiatives and to mobilize also other financial instruments beyond the EU funds, in particular through the work we are doing with the European Investment Bank under the Blue Invest. And in the context of the research and innovation project, so we have obviously these coordination and support actions. The most important of them are these Sea Basin Lighthouse CSAs, one in each of the 4 basins, so Danube and Black Sea, Mediterranean, Atlantic, Arctic, and North Sea Baltic. And in the context of some of the projects, there are also Cascade calls, and either under associated regions. We have other funding scheme for third parties, and we have also now a new object, which are these community-led pilot actions, and we will come back to this in a moment. So these are these three categories of Cascade funding. We have associated regions in 26 ongoing innovation action projects. There are two projects which are also starting, but obviously they have not yet launched the call for associated regions because they are starting, and they were starting last month, basically. Other projects not linked directly to the three mission objectives, more linked to the enablers, have also launched smaller scale schemes of financial support to third parties. Under the building of the digital twin ocean, there were three projects that were also calling for contribution, and so granting some resources for a bottom-up contribution to the DTO. And under the enabler of public participation, we had three projects targeting blue literacy in ocean literacy in schools, and also two projects for artistic projects. And then we have these four big projects that have just started. And Valérie was mentioning that she's part of the Blue Action Atlantic Arctic. There is also Blue Action Banos in the Baltic and North Sea, and other two projects with unfortunately much cryptic acronyms in the Mediterranean and in the Danube Black Sea. For each of these projects, we have the aim of delivering at least 5 cascading grants to community-led pilot actions, and at least 20 cascading grants for funding of transition agenda projects. This is an overview of the 28 currently ongoing projects which have associated regions. And here we can see that almost half of these projects are under the sub-objective, let's say, of freshwater protection and restoration. So we have 4 projects under the marine water protection and restoration. Then we have a big package of projects. Some are cross basins, like the 4 projects we have on lakes or on water retention. Some are focusing on the specific Danube River and Black Sea, because it's important to mention that in the first phase of the mission, so between 21 and this year, the focus of each lighthouse and the lighthouse coordination and support action was on one specific objective of the mission. So in the Atlantic Arctic, it was about marine waters. In the Danube and the Black Sea, Danube in that case, it was about fresh water. In the Mediterranean basin was focusing on pollution, and the Baltic and North Sea was focusing on the blue economy. Now, in this second phase of the mission, which is starting now, and with the new lighthouse basin coordination and support actions, it's foreseen that all basin will cover all objectives of the mission. So basically everything will be cross basin and cross objective, either, even if there are some specific project for a specific basin, because we also want to ensure the proper regional covering and of the representative covering of all the diversity of European rivers and seas. In the mission portal, there is a part on there is a monitoring dashboard of the mission with a lot of useful quantitative information on the deployment of the different mission activities. So it's about monitoring the outputs and how the money is spent, and which are the signatures of the charter, etc. And there is one specific chart on the associated regions where it's possible to see which are the associated regions that have been selected through these calls under one specific lighthouse or specific objective enabler or the country, etc. So it's important to mention that associated region does not mean regional authority, like a NUTS 2 or NUTS 3, etc. What would be a region in most of the countries. It can be also, it is a public entity, but it can be also a local entity. We have one case when the associated region, it's actually a public aquarium, I mean, oceanic institute in a specific city. In some cases, it can be the public harbor, etc., or a city or a regional authority. It's very variable depending of the project. And there are also, this clause has a little bit evolved over the different work program because it was maybe too restrictive at the beginning. The idea was that the associated, as the project, let's say, the project, the innovation actions, they basically always come with demo sites in the area, which also involve regional and local authorities. But what we wanted with the associated region is that regions that are, regional local authorities which are not directly involved in the project and which are not even in the area covered by the different partners in the consortium, so that this region also could replicate through the grants they receive in under the associated region scheme, they can replicate the solutions that are designed in the innovative actions. So therefore, sometimes, so if specific countries are involved through the members of the consortium, therefore it was an exclusion clause, and therefore the candidates for associated region could only come from countries which are not represented in the consortium. And you can click also on, as I was mentioning, for instance, if we click on one specific objective, so we can see the associated regions linked with objective 1, which you can imagine, I mean, they form the bulk of it, because we have seen before that most of the project with associated regions were under the objective 1. And so there are some interesting features, obviously, whether these the solutions developed there and further replicated in the associated region. They look at ecosystem restoration and nature-based solution, which is the dominant paradigm. There are the sediment management, because we have seen we have 3 projects dealing with sediment management is important. The idea is that all these associated regions contribute to the replication of the solution. So it's about building roadmap action plans to have additional demo sites and take the results of these demo sites into the regional funding pipelines. And so also the actions which is undertaken under the associated regions, it's very often focused on monitoring data and providing modeling, and also dealing with stakeholder engagement and capacity building. So it's covering both enablers of the mission, but at local level. And that's it. That's all what we thought it could be useful to mention at this stage, but I'm happy to reply to questions either now or after in the discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We will share the slides, obviously.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much, Jacques. Just before we move on, I think one clarifying question for our audience might just be, could you just touch upon a little bit more what third parties might mean, since we have a wide geographic spread here in the audience?
I don't understand the question.
Oh, sorry. So yes, you were mentioning third parties, so associated regions and third parties. So could you explain?
Third-party funding scheme. Yes.
Yes.
Basically, it's when you under the project. I mean, it's Cascade codes. But I mean, I think the official name is the third-party funding scheme. It is that the project gives. I mean, of course, I mean there are beneficiaries of the project, which are the members of the consortium, and then the third parties would be additional beneficiaries which are not part of the consortium, but then get part of the budget of the project through cascading competitive calls that the project organize, which is exactly what we are discussing today, if I understand well.
Yeah, that's perfect. So countries, if I'm not mistaken, that are outside of the European Union can also, as long as they're a third party to the Commission, can apply. Yeah. Through Cascade funding?
This is well, here we are more in technique. Maybe Loic, you know something about that. I'm not. I mean, sometimes the restrictions they are in the detail of the topics. I don't have with me the details
Yes, and
of the work programs. I mean, it's normally it's
right.
we aim at focusing. I mean, on the associated countries, but I'm aware that there are some associated regions that are, for instance, I mean, in countries which are not, if I'm not mistaken,
In the EU.
associated countries, which are really third countries. But this is a very specific question. I can double check while we are talking.
Louis, did you want to add anything to that before I go to Ellie
I think
quickly?
you gave the right answer, depending on the call conditions. But the logic, I mean, the rationale is EU member state and associate country to the Horizon Europe, unless specified otherwise in the code. But as Jacques said, we will try to find the exact reference during the workshop.
Thank you. Ellie, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, since I'm one of the program managers executing an associated region code, so I can just add to the information that was provided. First, all the third parties that are applying for such grants, they need to very carefully check the code conditions because there might be some restrictions. But in a general framework, that is eligible to receive funds under Horizon Europe usually is eligible depending on the restrictions of the certain project. So every time, third parties need to read carefully the code documents.
Perfect. Thank you. That's helpful. Okay, so we're going to move on now. We will have a time for questions. So now we're going to go to the pairings themselves. So these are some of the projects that Jacques showed on his slide. Today we have Agora and also Climarest and Restore for Life and iMermaid that will be presenting their various public authority and demo site pairing. So the first one to present is from the Agora project, and it will be the Arosa Lab mission. And I ask too if the people that come on, if you can please just give your name and your organization title and where you're based in the world, that would be helpful. Sarah, over to you.
Yeah. We are expressing some technical issues. Could we be the second ones? Because I am waiting for the public authority to come here.
Okay.
This will be possible for you? If I
no
don't
problem.
disturb you too much?
No problem. Well, if that, I'm
Okay,
sure that's fine for Climarest, then we'll move over to Paola and Dimitris. So from Madeira and Cyprus.
So can you see the slide? All good? Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paola Parretti. I'm a researcher at Madeira, Portugal, and I'm here today as Work Package 2 leader of Climarest with my colleague Dimitris. So just a brief introduction. Climarest aim to develop and demonstrate restoration tool and activities in 5 demonstration and 5 replication sites. Each site is focusing on a different ecosystem. So we have Svalbard and Sweden that are aiming to restore Arctic coastal area. Ireland and Greece, they are focusing on seagrass meadow. Brittany and Germany, they aim for native oyster reef. Vigo and Croatia, they focus on soft benthic habitat. And lastly, but not least, in Madeira and Cyprus, we are going to focus on macroalgae forest restoration. So the situation of both sites is quite similar. We are facing the same threat. Majority, we have this situation that you can see on the left. So our rocky reef is presenting a lot of sea urchin barren. And what we aim to do is to restore our macroalgae forest. So to do so, we identify, of course, some stakeholder. The main stakeholder here is marine researchers, is us basically, and we work on 4 different for different action. So we aim to control our grazers that can be sea urchin in Madeira or sea urchin and fish in Cyprus. Then we aim to assist macroalgae recruitment, monitoring marine biodiversity, and do some outreach activities. Of course, to do all this, it's impossible to do it by your own, so we need the collaboration of several stakeholders. Here is a really resume stakeholder map that is quite similar for both Madeira and Cyprus. We identified and classified our stakeholder in 4 different categories that you can see here on the bottom, and ranging from regulation and administration, commercial and professional user, recreational user, and education, research, or NGOs. So our local authorities in both regions were identified as a priority stakeholder because we need them to have permits both to control the grazers and to do assisted macroalgae recruitment. Then in both areas, we decided to work closely with Scuba Diving Center because we asked their help to monitoring the marine biodiversity while we were restoring the ecosystem. To do so, in Madeira, we have developed a dive report app, which basically represent, we have 24 target species, both selected by Scuba Diving Center and marine researcher. And we ask the collaboration of Scuba Diving Center after each dive to help us monitoring these 24 species. This app was also presented in Cyprus, and they are using it, or we are developing to be used now there. Other activity which was really important for us was the outreach, and we focus as target group on student. Of course, these are not the only stakeholder that were involved within the ClimaRest. It's a little bit more complex, the scheme, but here you have a big overview. So now about the challenges and tension, I will pass the word to my colleague Dimitris, and when he wants.
Thank you, Paola. Okay, so there's the challenges or barriers are multidisciplinary, starting with the technical and economic. I would say that the restoration protocols may work well on small scales, but when you scale up, it's difficult to, there's risks of failure and they're not cost effective. Also for large scale restoration, financing is limited, and of course there is much uncertainty about the return of investment and how long would that take. Regarding administrative governance is often fragmented. To get a permit to do a pilot research project, it may be easy, but or easier, but to get a permit for a large-scale restoration project, it may be much more difficult and time-consuming. National authorities, municipalities, port, planning does not include restoration in the marine environment. It's very rarely the case, if ever. And there is no long-term investment planning. In terms of environmental limitations, is that we have to accomplish passive restoration, which means monitor pressures, control pressures, and sometimes that is very difficult to accomplish, especially in urban areas. And like, how do you reduce the footprint of a city? Or some pressures that we have in pristine marine protected areas or Natura areas are invasive species and climate change, which are also very difficult to control locally. And there's some limited knowledge on what drives the degradation of marine ecosystems on the long term. And some extra relational, I would say, comments is that living labs that we're trying to establish, and we have established through this project and cascading funding, they take time to develop and they rely on trust, which is something that needs time to mature, not within a time frame of a 2 or 3 year project. And of course, we need to keep engaging the diving community Like a great example is a dive reporter app that the Madeira team has developed, and we are incorporating this reporter app also in Cyprus now and many locations to come. Okay, Paola.
So about the success and impact, of course, in Madeira we were able to do our macroalgae restoration. Of course, we are still at a small scale, so the next challenge will be go a little bit bigger. But some impact that you can see. So our dive report app actually have quite a high number of reports. So we are around 2,000. And diving center use it quite often, of course, during summer months, which is our peak of tourism. And usually they report about 6 of 24 selected species. As I told you before, we focus also on outreach in school, and we were able to assess increase in student around the 50%. Of course, this is vary a lot about the topic. We did this basically conducting a before and after survey questionnaire. And so we did this questionnaire, and then we developed some activities talking about the ClimeRest project and what we are doing in Madeira, so macroalgae restoration. And as you can see, the question that has lower, let's say, knowledge increase is what percentage of Earth surface is occupied by marine ecosystem, while almost none of our students know the difference between macroalgae and plants. So for us, this was a huge success. And now back to Dimitris.
Yes, and in terms of our pilot efforts we chose Akamas. This is a very nice Natura area in north West Cyprus, and it's been the main pressure here is the invasive long spine sea urchin. So we activated some removals, monthly removals for around 5 months, and what we've seen is that removals can decrease the sea urchin abundance considerably. So 1 monthly removal had a much great effect. You don't need to repeat many removals, so I think we can scale that easily. We're also investigating now the sea urchins. They can be edible, so to create a business model out of them. So we're talking with some local restaurants and doing some future proposals also on the matter. And we also saw that the removed sites, the algae, it may be a coincidence, but we saw that the algae cover increased when we removed the main herbivore that creates these barrens. So these are great findings that can help upscale restoration in this site of shallow rocky reefs. Of course, we had the great impact of bringing all the community here together, the Living Lab approach, which means main key stakeholders like divers, managers, municipalities, and researchers working together on this. And finally, from as a replication side, for me, if you ask me what are the benefits, why apply in these cascading funds, first of all, I would say this is a bit very current and the future. Like there's a lot of support at the moment from policy, from funding agencies on restoration projects, both EU and national levels. Of course, exchanging with this and learning from these restoration lighthouse projects helps develop local knowledge and skilled professionals that can take restoration in the future forward. And this Living Lab approach we've been doing, working with the community here, helps raise awareness and sense of ownership among the community, and also responsibility. The pilot studies that we did help optimize and see the efficiency on a small scale and the logistics of restoration methodologies. And finally, like it happened in our case, cascading funding can open doors, can be the gateway to attract more research and scaled up restoration efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Clara Rest. Excellent, a really interesting presentation. So in the interest of time, we'll move on. Is the Agora project ready to present? Sarah?
Yeah, we are ready now. So sorry for
Okay.
being late.
No worries.
So
Fantastic. Over
now,
to you.
yeah, I will try to share the entire screen. So would you be able to see my screen?
Yes, and maybe just you can remove the part. Yeah,
I will put
perfect.
this in
Presentation mode.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a presentation mode like that. Now is good.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead.
nice. So he is Juan Carlos, so he will be presenting this presentation. So
Good afternoon, everyone. We are based on the northwest of Spain. My name is Juan Carlos Rodriguez. I'm representing the public authority for the Galicia area on behalf of the General Directorate of Citizens Development. And I am very pleased to be here today to present Anusa Lab, the associated region of Galicia within the Agora project. Anusa Lab is our living lab, a space where schools, fishing wheels, private organization, and the local administration collaborate to create nature-based solutions. Galicia is an Atlantic territory with more than 1,500 kilometers of coastline, deeply connected to the sea. Our work aims to project ecosystems and strengthen community participation. Um, Our mission is to democratize maritime knowledge, restore marine ecosystems, and enhance climate resilience through nature-based solutions and strong social inclusion. Environmental restaurant is not only a scientific effort, it must involve communities. In Arousa Lab, inclusion is essential. We coordinate the lab through Association Amigos and GO, working with people with intellectual disabilities. We play a meaningful and activity role as environmental agents. One of the main challenges we faced was mobilizing and maintaining citizen engagement over time. Community members already have many responsibilities, and creating long-term involvement requires sensibility and patience. But this challenge became a key learning point. We are learned to work through trust community levels, adapt the rhythm of activities to its sector, and create a shared sense of purpose and responsibility. As a result, we establishing stable collaboration with schools, fishermen's wills, and local institutions. What makes Arosa Lab innovate is it is a interdisciplinary and multi-actor approach. We combine scientific monitoring, field restaurant, restoration, educational programs, and citizen participation. The European cooperation dimension has been essential. Without Agora, progress would have been much slower. The transnational exchange allow us to scale solutions, align methodologies, and place Galicia off the map as a Atlantic demonstration territory for NIBS. Arosa Labs works thanks to wide and diverse network and stakeholders. We currently cooperate with schools, supporting 7 supporting entities, local fishing wills, and more than 700 participants, including children, youth, adults, and volunteers. This community network is key to ensuring that nature-based solutions become long-term practice, not isolated pilot actions. During this first stage, we achieved significant results. 7 sessions of the social communities or governance co-create space. 22 valence raising activities, 12 cleanup actions, and 5 bilateral meetings with others the region. But what matters most is the quality of participation. For the first time, we brought together schools, fishermen, environment groups, and public authorities in a shared working group. In total, 250 people directly participate, more than 150 of them children. On the ecological side, results are already measurable. In the last year, we have restored 100 gorgonians, planted 500 seagrasses, and reintroduced 1,000 kelps in degraded areas. These actions contribute to habitat recovery, carbon sequestration, coastal resilience, and preservation of Atlantic biodiversity. They demonstrate that community-led ecological restoration is not only possible, but highly effective. Beyond concrete results, Arosa Lab represents long-term vision, working hand in hand with communities to build resilience, strength, environmental governance, and integrate scientific knowledge into local decision making. The living lab models allow us to combine education, environmental monitoring, pilot restoration, and stakeholder engagement, creating a framework that can be replicated in other territories of the Atlantic area. To conclude, Arosa Lab is a collaborative process where science, education, and community community participation come together to restore our marine ecosystem. We are grateful for the opportunity to learn from other regions and to contribute Galician's experience to the Atlantic community. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. Unfortunately, we have to move on quickly because we are running out of time. So I'm going to come to Restore for Life, and if I can just ask you to please go as quick as you can, I'm afraid. Thanks.
So do you see the presentation? Okay.
Yes.
So, pardon. Hello, everyone. I'm Dusan Kecvijanović from Serbia, a university professor from Faculty of Sciences, University of Novi Sad. I'm also task leader for development of restoration roadmaps within the Restore for Life project, and I will present you our experience together with Bogdan. Bogdan, please.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Bogdan Brods. I am a CEO of the Danube Carpathian program in Lviv, Ukraine. So, and also I am the head of department in State Museum of Natural History. So I'm mixing civil society work together with research science. Can we have next? So, together with Dushka, despite we are in different countries, our target is about restoring wetlands for sustainable future. This is a slogan which is coming from Restore for Life. But more specific, as an associated region, because I actually, as a Ukraine, not the main application, but we came to the project as associated region to develop some additional dimension in the project. So it's a peatland restoration for biodiversity conservation and sustainable use. So we have two sites which we are cooperating both besides another activities in the project. It's a implementation in sites on peatland in Serbia and in Ukraine. Next, please. So collaboration as stakeholders. So something which is quite important, we are talking how the Cascade funding could have enabled or accelerated collaboration. We are talking, this was extremely efficient for us, this Cascade funding through the associated regions, because it's actually a help to develop network inner and outer cycles. Definitely it's more like project core team which is working, but that is absolutely huge outer cycle with different networks connection which being developed large amount, which being very useful for project results. And this network will be even more sustainable in the future of the project ends, because it's helping in development through the idea and funding. So some parts of this network will even can survive and can make as a separate idea. And this separate idea can be as a separate project and can raise separate money. And this general work can develop much broader. So it's why we're considering as this is very efficient. Collaboration efficiency also has improved thanks to Cascade funding. But what we recognize is the coordination, much larger coordination is still necessary because we have the larger number of the people, team, and all this inner and outer cycle. When we're talking who is involved in partnership from technical team, we are talking municipality, we are talking business, we are talking science, and we are talking civil society. I can tell you civil society sometimes is going in the separate life. They are not in some way coordinated with all this government or municipality, but they have a separate, freewheeling, easy moving through the social network, and they developing many target activities, which is very useful in the project. Something unexpected this is business opportunities. So we've been absolutely in some of our work when we've been making survey, we recognize some people from business, they extremely wanted to be part of it. They even considering this area should be like peatlands should be protected because this is part of their life, because they are local, they wanted this to be. So there's many things when you're working is not exactly like you've been planned, and something unexpected allies is coming to the project. Next, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, challenges and tensions. We definitely, I would not say if impact of war in Ukraine making not impact on our work. Definitely not work in Serbia, but definitely work in Ukraine. And we needed to do some budget adaptation to be efficient. But despite the war, we are operational and working, and our cooperation is very fruitful. Insufficient adaptation on municipality and local community to EU funding. What I recognize, it's a lack of capacity sometimes in unadapted financial system because it's not part of EU. Local and regional authorities, it's affected by political circumstances. So sometimes that is making different mixtures. And legal connection between authorities and NGO or research organization is needed because people just establishing different allies and then quite more efficient to the work.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you, Bogdan. I may confirm that these challenges were persistent among all pairs of associated regions and demonstration sites, and I would recommend using budget type lump sum in order to avoid many delays and different kinds of amendments of the agreements. Bogdan.
So in success, what we are telling, what we are really proud of achieving together, this is established network and practices and experience exchange. It's a still project ongoing and we still have substantial amount of time together to go, but it's still very obvious network is got larger, they're benefiting the project from that, and practices, especially experience of exchange, is very fruitful. Outcomes, we are calling about conflict resolution methods because in dialogue focused transformation, when you're dealing with stakeholders, and these conflict resolution methods are crucial. And mutual integration, it's a scientific, cultural, etc. So they are really one of the outcomes and very important because we started to trust each other much more. We started to work better together. So that is extremely useful and helpful. Funding help. They are meetings, and we've been quite missing after the COVID our live meeting, and that was something extremely useful. Meeting and workshops which been organized, and you can see how efficient they've been during that time.
Yeah, first meeting live was in Serbia for you, so I'm proud of that. I just wanted to add that as somebody who have a lot of experience working in complex socioeconomic circumstances and regions, this project was so beneficial and this pairing in this dialogue, transformation and mutual integration compared to all other Balkans and other projects. And why should somebody apply? Well, from our perspective as a consortia, we received a multidimensional and multi-criteria framework for testing all our tools that were developed within the project. So we are bringing finalized products, so completely tested and evaluated in other regions. We exchanged a lot of experience that wasn't just capacity building, it was rather sharing knowledge and experience. And of course, becoming a part of larger professional network is beneficial for all of us. But for the end, I would recommend definitely that before applying that local and regional authorities firstly establish legal links with experts, because a lot of time is spent later on tendering procedures and how to legally engage those experts, because local authorities don't have an expertise to do the job by their own. So, and maybe the final word by both.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because when you're going with advice together, it's very important. I recognize in some Cascade, it's also SpongeWorks and some in other programs. It's very important you going with consortium much better, because you already with consortium in application, what Dushka just said, you already established cooperation and you're going inside with application already with consortium, and that would be very important. At least 2-3 organizations, including authorities, that is crucial you coming in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Some really useful information there. So again, we are short on time, and apologies for that. I hope that our next speakers can stay on a little bit longer, as well as our participants. But just know that we we are recording all of this. So if you do have to leave us, please do come back and watch the final bits, especially since we are announcing 2 open calls for Cascade funding, which is very important. So on to our next speaker from iMermaid. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I hope you can see and my presentation and you can hear me clearly.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So I will dive directly into the topic because we are short in time. Good afternoon from Black Sea coast, from Burgas, Bulgaria. I will present the MP3 Lake project, which is implemented by the municipality of Pomorie, and it is part of the associated regions from Open Call 2 of the iMermaid project. As you know, iMermaid project is a huge project which aims to develop solutions for the protection of the Mediterranean Sea and related basins. And it is implemented by 26 different partners, all of them carrying specific expertise in the science, technology, and academia. So in this sense, our project, our use case is focused on the monitoring of priority pollutants and contaminants of emerging concern in Pomorie Lake. This is our implementation area. The lake itself is a coastal lagoon, which is Natura 2000 and Ramsar Convention site. However, it is in the last years under huge anthropogenic pressure due to urbanization, touristic activity, agriculture, etc. Our aim in this project is to adopt and apply one of the solutions developed by the iMermaid, namely the electrochemical sensors, which are capable to detect specific micropollutants in real time, to monitor the presence of such a pollutants in the lake water. The main objective and the challenge here is to improve the current water quality assessments, which are limited to the basic parameters such as electrical conductivity, pH, etc. And of course, they lack real-time data on emerging contaminants and hindering timely response and accurate source identification. Regarding the source of these pollutions, we identified that nearby fields, agricultural activity, could be a source of many agrochemical compounds used in the field, mainly vineyards. So the goals of the project, as I mentioned, are to enhance the monitoring and management of the organic micropollutants in Pomorie Lake. We are planning and already performing different activities for data collection, especially after critical periods like post-rainfall and tourism season to identify diffusion contamination. We try to identify pollution patterns, and one of the very important activities of our project is to engage the local stakeholders. And of course, we are aiming to produce policy-oriented outputs. In one word, our aim is to adopt and to promote this new approach for monitoring of the micropollutants and the water quality in general, in order to have more efficient identification of the pollutants and, of course, to protect the environmental and public health. If I have to describe this only in two pictures, we are trying to shift from this to this. Regarding our collaboration with the iMermaid, it could be said that from the side of the iMermaid, we are receiving the solution which is capable to detect the compounds of interest in real time. In our case, they are PFAS and different chemicals and pharmaceuticals used in the area. By the way, I am not going to present actual results in this presentation, but I can only mention that so far we managed to identify in the samples from the lake tebuconazole and paracetamol. Paracetamol, as you know, is an antipyretic analgesic. The tebuconazole is a compound widely used for antifungal protection of the vineyards. So we probably will use these two compounds as indicators for diffusive pollution of the lake water. From the other hand, iMermaid also provide technical assistance and help to Pomoria municipality and MP3 Lake project to build capacity by training of project team and other stakeholders in the technical details of the solution applied. And Pomoria municipality and MP3 Lake from its side will provide real life testing of the solution for evaluation of its potential, its abilities to detect compounds in real samples, and will create certain output in terms of the feasibility, further scale up and development of the service and products from this solution in forms of roadmap and of course also in the form of collaboration with the other municipalities in the region, because we believe that this solution could be easily implemented in other coastal areas and lakes with such a characteristic in our region. Talking about the implementation and the project activities, we divided the project implementation in 3 stages. The first stage, actually, we are just finishing the first stage. It is dedicated on the baseline report, establishment of the baseline status of the Pomoria Lake. We made screening for all these target pollutants. We developed sample collection, sample preparation, extraction protocols, also different protocols for specific instrumental chemical analysis using the external expertise, of course, of private labs and also the local university here. And in the second and the third stage, we are planning to implement the actual sensors for monitoring of the target pollutants, to collect data, to make integration of this data with the existing monitoring systems collecting the data from the monitoring, and to use also the cross-check and validation by parallel measurements by sensors and classical methods for, let's say, calibration. At the third stage, we will mostly evaluate the the use case, and we will prepare our final reports where our replication roadmap, and we are also planning to disseminate the results among the stakeholders. Talking about the stakeholders, in our case, in the local context, they are, of course, the municipality of Pomorie, different local communities like fishers and NGOs for the tourism and agricultural sector, but also the environmental agencies. Just yesterday, I had a meeting with the director of the regional environmental agency in Burgas, and they are very interested with the output of the project as well. The team of the project from the side of Pomorie municipality consists of 4 persons: project coordinator, ecologists, the ecologists of the municipality, and 2 technical staff, and myself serving as a external expert and technical support for the project implementations. In wider context, the collaboration chart could be presented like this. Our team and our project is in very tight collaboration with the solution providers, of course, at the first hand, the iMermaid project, and from the other side, our mentors. We have administrative support from the F6S, and we have both administrative support and mentorship from the. And in this scheme, of course, we have to include also the local stakeholders. By the way, we are planning, and already we did successfully one of the stakeholder meetings, which was dedicated to presentation of the project. In the next meetings, we are planning to make some kind of workshop and training on application of the sensors. How such a collaboration help for the project implementation? Of course, in such a consortium, let's say we have combined technical excellence with practical relevance. We ensure smooth implementation and knowledge transfer thanks to the administrative support, and we align the project aims and approach with the local challenges, priorities, and by this we provide a long-term sustainability. And last but not least, we are involving the local community and regional actors to prepare them for acceptance and for future wider implementation of this solution. I personally do believe that municipalities like Pomorie, being the early adopters of these solutions, they are potentially also the first customers of this solution when it will be commercialized. Next, of course, during the implementation so far, we faced some challenges. At the first place, I believe this is the project management in terms of ensuring effective coordination, timely deliverable of tasks and deliverables, clear communication across all the partners, because it's a complex consortium of partners. And of course, we were challenged to adapt and align with the standards and workflow of the iMermaid. It is a project which is already 2 or 3 years in implementation, so they have established practices, and we must to align with them. And we had some technical challenges during the baseline assessment. There is a lack of historical data. The concentrations of the compounds are very low, so they are not very easy to be detected. How we overcome these challenges? Of course, by collaboration. Our success factor is the collaboration. We created first a very clear roadmap for the next phases of implementation of the project. It is written in our first deliverable in use case specification. We are strengthening the regional and national partnership during the project implementation. Very good collaboration with the iMermaid team, with the other partners, with our mentors, and with the local stakeholders. And we are working closely with the solution developer to advance towards a full-scale deployment, which is the main objective of the stage 2 of our project. Why to apply such opportunities for authorities? From our experience so far, I can say that there is three main reasons. This opportunities provides a low administrative, low risk entry into Horizon Europe program, and allow authorities to pilot innovative solutions and receive technical support for their application, because in the municipalities it's not very common to find a chemist or something. On the second place, this initiative supports real local challenges. They are aiming at real local problems, and in this way there is a direct access to expertise, mentoring and advanced technologies for the municipalities and the local authorities. And of course, last but not least, this opportunities offers fast, flexible funding, which is ideal for testing, validation, and scaling. Thank you very much. Sorry for being a little bit out of time.
That's okay. Thank you very much. Really great presentation. So before we move on, we do have one question in the Q&A. I think we're not going to have time for the panel discussion, unfortunately, but I do want to give the floor to Jacques if he had any questions. Unfortunately, Loïc just had to step out of the webinar, but if Jacques has any questions or comments, or else what I can do is just go to the question right now. We have, so from an anonymous attendee, we have, so thank you to the great presentations. And it's saying, from my understanding, the associated regions joining through the FSTP scheme are primarily supporting the development of roadmaps and action plans to scale solutions. The ultimate objective is not simply to implement isolated interventions or plans within each region, but rather to create comprehensive roadmaps that integrate best practices and knowledge gained across all associated regions. Is that correct? So my understanding, and I'll also draw on the knowledge of other people in this webinar, but my understanding is that is correct. So that is what is going to happen in, for example, the Blue Action AA and Blue Action Banos, and some of the other Blue Action projects that are going to launch their open call come end of November. Of course, not all Cascade funding is catering to that. They are maybe giving funding for other more determined, themes, so looking at particular themes, so whether that's freshwater restoration or something else, so they might not be working on transition agendas, for example. But I don't know, Ellie, if you had anything else you wanted to add, or anyone else?
I can add that the general, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Because like my...
Yes, I can.
Now I think now you can hear me. The general explanation that the person that asked the question provided is true, but it's not only this. So once again, it really depends on the purpose of the call. For example, for iMermaid, it is not only the creation of a roadmap, but for us it's very important for additional use cases and demonstrators to be created as part of our project, for our solution to be tested, to be validated, this to be brought back to the consortium, so the solution can be enhanced for further commercialization and so forth. So it really depends on the different goals of the associated regions and the goals of the projects that are applying such a financial support to third-party mechanism. So it's a bit broader, but indeed, whatever has been put in this response is also correct.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. I'm glad we got that in the recording. Okay, just because I'm conscious of time and for our speakers' time and our participants, I would like to move on, unless there's any questions, further questions that the participants want to put in the Q&A, or if anybody as a speaker has a question for another presenter. Just give it a few seconds just to give people time. But if not, then what I suggest is we move on to the funding opportunities that are currently open for applications. And we will start with the Sundance project. So over to you, Mihaela.
Hi everyone. Let me share my screen in a minute. Did you see it?
I believe it's coming.
Ah,
Yes. If you can just put it in full presentation mode, that's great.
it
Yeah, perfect.
is
Perfect.
in full presentation. Perfect. So hi, I understand that we are running time, so I will try to be quick. I'm Mihaela Timofti, and I'm Associate Professor at the Faculty of Science and Environment of the Dunărea de Jos University of Galați. And my university is the coordinating institution of the Sundance Project. So the Sundance Project brings together a strong consortium of 20 partners from 10 EU and non-EU countries, united by a common mission, addressing sediment challenges in the Danube Black Sea system. With a budget of approximately 9 million euro and duration of 48 months, Sundance aims to deliver innovative and sustainable sediment management solution for the Danube River Black Sea system. The key outcomes include a sediment management handbook, a sediment prediction tool, and broader stakeholder engagement across Europe, informed by 3 in-depth use cases. These use cases are located in Bulgaria, Romania, and Serbia, and for each country, the focus are primarily on the sediment, and each country has something specific. For example, in Bulgaria, the management will be about the flow management from Ruse to Tracan. In Romania, we'll have a use case between Corabia and Turnul Măgurele, and for Serbia, we'll study the assessment of sediment management impacts downstream of the Srpske-Itebej lock. Sundance provides funding opportunities for regions through its open call mechanism. The open call aims to build strong long-term collaboration with local and regional authorities, enabling them to replicate and adapt Sundance methodologies with their own operational and geographical context. The first open call will start soon in the middle of December, so will be open for about 2 months. Participating regions may apply for up to 100,000 euro to enhance sediment management on their river systems. Selected regions will receive direct scientific and technical guidance from Sundance experts and access to validated sustainable sediment management solutions. So the open call focus on our 4 thematic areas that refers to flow monitoring, sediment quantity monitoring, sediment quality assessment, and pollution source identification, and of course, awareness raising actions related to sediment flow alteration. Applicants may choose from 12 predefined replication activities that correspond to these 4 themes. Entities from countries that already represented in the Sundance Consortium are not eligible to apply. Pay attention to this. Eligible countries for each open call will be announced in due course. To stay informed, we encourage all interested parties to subscribe to our Sundance newsletters. Each funded project will run for 9 months, structured in 3 phases. In the phase 1 will be the project definition, including the planning, mentoring, arrangements, milestone, and expected outputs. In the second phase, the implementation of the selected activities, and the last phase will be for the evaluation and consolidation of results, including stakeholder engagement, outcomes, regional action plans, roadmaps, and impact assessments. We warmly invite you to join our newsletter for exclusive updates and to ensure you to do not miss the launch of the open calls. So thank you very much for your attention. We look forward to collaborate with you to advance sustainable sediment management across the Danube region and beyond. I hope I was quick enough to stay in the time. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
If you have any question for us, please do not hesitate to ask me or to put this question to the Sundance email. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so next we have Euro Lakes. Thank you. Ruba? Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
Do
there
you
you
see
are.
my screen?
No, I see you.
Okay. Well, I will try to share my screen
Okay.
now, right?
Yes, perfect. Yep.
Okay. So quick about my myself. I am Ruba Hilal, and I am a project coordinator at Wetlands International European Association, and also in EuroLake project. And we have an open call, and I want to present it for you. But before, I want to give you a little bit of background about the project. It is a project that is funded under Horizon Mission Ocean of 2023-0104, and it has 13 participant organizations. The project started on the 1st of September of 2024, and it will run for 48 months. What is relevant for the call to know is that the project takes an innovative and holistic and science-based approach to safeguarding and restoration and restoring European natural lakes and their ecosystems. And it is this is based on the 4 returns framework for landscape restoration, which what we refer to by 4 returns. And this is a practical methodology that is designed to find sustainable and long-term solutions at the landscape level. Basically, the aim here is to achieve 4 types of return: inspiration, social benefits, restoration of nature, and financial gains. The call basically is through this call, the project here aims to scale up the natural-based solution and the participatory approaches that have been developed and tested at the EuroLake demonstration sites. These sites are Lake Vico in Italy, Lake Dumer in Germany, and Lake Bistrit in Romania. So the idea is to replicate those solution that was in the demonstration, to replicate them into 3 additional lake sites in and associated regions. Together with EuroLakes partners, the funded association will co-develop a replication plan and a roadmap to ensure a long-term impact. So basically, the expected result of this call will include to strengthening the capacity of the funded association regions to apply the EuroLakes methodology focusing on the 4 returns, the establishment of local communities of practice, engaging key stakeholders, the validate replication plans and implementation roadmap for each replication site, and implementation of locally adapted natural-based solution for lake restoration to define a long-term strategies for improving ecological status and resilience, and finally to have a tangible progress towards the 4 returns. Again, inspiration, social, natural, and financial. Who can apply? I think by now we basically say the same, but it is for associated region, so local and regional authority from associated region from EU member states or from countries that is associated with the Horizon Europe program. That is provided that they are not part of the EuroLake consortium. The applications can be submitted individually or jointly by eligible authorities under the coordination of a lead partner. And they will be the one taking the full coordination and communication responsibility. Other organizations such as research institutes, companies, NGOs, they can participate, but as a subcontractors. Also bear in mind that authorities that are already receiving financial support to third parties under the same topic, they are not eligible. And the following countries are the countries that are in the EuroLake consortium, so they are also not eligible. They are Austria, Bulgaria, Germany, Italy, Romania, the Netherlands, and United Kingdom. The funding available is for 3 associated regions, and it will be up to 75% in form of a lump sum. So this will be providing a funding rate of 100%. And to give you just a quick timeline of the project, like key of the call, a key date. The call was opened on the 15th of October. The deadline to submit the application is 15th of January of 2026. The evaluation and selection period would be between the 16th of January until the 15th of April of 2026. And the anticipated project start date would be between 1st of June and 30th of September of next year. And the project duration would be between 20 to 24 months. And you have to take in mind that the project should end by the 31st of May. And thank you for sharing the link, but here is the link for the call with more details. Because we have short time, I try to be as short as possible. And yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I just want to thank all of the speakers for the insights. Obviously, I think from today's discussion or webinar, it's clear that Cascade funding doesn't just provide financial resources, but it really enables innovation. It promotes the collaboration and trust, we also heard, and creates lasting impact. So we hope today's discussion inspired the stakeholders to explore future Cascade funding, and the participants that were here today. I hope too you got some inspiration. And just to let you know that our next webinar will be on the 5th of December, and that will be covering the pollution objective of the Mission Ocean. So we will have also kind of a similar setup, other pairings that we'll present, as well as 3 open calls to announce at that time. So we hope to see many of you again at that next webinar. And do reach out to us if you have questions for us, for any of the speakers here today or myself. We're here to help you and to support you, and to also help you on your journey on applying to future Cascade funding. So again, thank you very much to all of the speakers. Fantastic job. And I'll put this together in a report to also share to the Commission, who also say goodbye. They had to leave early. Well, they had to leave because this ran over time. I think next one we'll try and extend to an hour and a half. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.